I'm here with Mark Hutchinson, the new Labour Party candidate in the Napier electorate. Kia ora, Mark, and thank you for talking with us.
Kia ora, Andrew. Thanks for coming today.
Yeah, no, thank you. Mark, you've just been elected to replace Stuart Nash as Labour's candidate in the Napier seat. To ask a question that will be on everyone's lips, who are you?
Well, okay, I'm Mark Hutchinson. I was born and raised in Napier, grew up in Taradale, lived in a little street called Gebby Road. Mum was a teacher and Dad a salesman in Hawke's Bay, so we had a fairly ordinary sort of lifestyle. I spent all of my time at the local schools in Taradale, so Bledisloe, Taradale Intermediate and Taradale High School, so I never had to walk more than about 5 minutes to school. It's kind of the sort of idyllic upbringing that you'd kind of want any primary school teacher's kids to be able to have, actually. And then I went off to Otago University and became a clinical psychologist. Worked in the health sector, both in Wellington and in London, and then moved into business psychology for a big global blue chip consulting firm and worked with some incredibly interesting companies in London and the UK before deciding, as our kids reached school age, that we'd really rather raise them in Napier. So we moved back to New Zealand to raise our kids in Napier at the beginning of 2010.
So you've been here for a good decade or so, and
yes.
So what have you been doing since then?
So I initially worked for the same global leadership company, working on their clients in New Zealand like Fonterra and Fletcher and Trustpower, and also flying over to Australia quite a bit to work with some big clients over there, and like BP and Jetstar. And in the last 7 years, I've successfully built my own business from scratch. So I have my own leadership consulting firm, which is based here in Hawke's Bay, but services big clients in the big cities. So I know what it's like to grow a business from scratch in the regions, because it's slightly different from being right on the back door of Auckland or Wellington.
Yeah. So successful business, clinical psychologist. Why would you want to get into politics?
That's a really good question, isn't it? I think, obviously I wasn't planning to. I was quite happily ready to be, I've been involved in all of Stuart's 4 campaigns in Napier. I've had various roles, and last time I was his campaign manager. I was his get out the vote guy when he first won the seat, when Chris Tremaine retired. And I was quite happy to be his campaign manager, but I think that I was asked by people in the Labour Party and people in the local Labour Party that know me, and I had a serious think about it, and I thought, on your deathbed it's going to be the things that you don't do that you say, oh, maybe I should have.
Yeah.
And the world has got a lot of big challenges. I think the dual ones are inequality and climate change, and what am I going to tell my grandkids? That I didn't step up and give it a go. So, and I suppose there's a longer history, which is kind of, I come from a family that my grandparents were very badly hit by the Depression, and there had been no GLAB government, right? Yeah. So there was no social welfare, there was no chance of them going to secondary schooling, and it took, the third generation to get someone like me to have the privilege to go to university, and have the life that I have. And I have a very strong belief that if you are able to utilise the wonderful privileges that you have living in this society, that you should give something back if you do well.
Yeah.
And so I'm leaning into it.
Yeah. So through no fault of your own, you don't have much time. It's 5 months or so to go. When Stuart Nash first ran for Napier, he had a long lead-in. I think it was about a year or even more. So does that bother you that you don't have much time?
No, it doesn't, because I think we've got a really good team here. So I've been involved in building up the team over the last 13 years that I've been home, and we've got some really strong people in the local team. The difference between us possibly and National is we're a grassroots organisation, so we don't just do politics in an election year. When the community was struggling during COVID, we had people out delivering care packages to people that were struggling, and I was out, door knocking in the streets of Maraenui and Marie. We're trying to get the vaccination rate up. So we're a movement that is sort of constantly involved in social causes. So yeah, that's been my involvement.
So now I know, because someone was at the shop when they were being printed, but I know you're getting some signs printed. When do those go up, and what will they be?
Well, that's a good question. So obviously we'll be completely within the rules of the Napier City Council's by-elections. I'm a bit concerned about some of our opponents' signs at the moment and wondering whether they're quite within the letter of the law. But I have a team of people that are organising that, and so I haven't got the specifics, but I know that we'll be putting, you know, a lot of hoardings out on the 14th of July, which is when the 3-month period for hoardings in Napier is official.
Yeah. So you've obviously run campaigns, you know how to run them. What is going to be, because given that you are fairly unknown by the larger voting population, what is going to be your strategy to get voters?
Well, you know, I think I don't take it for granted that, you know, just because we had the last couple of elections were really successful here for Stuart, I don't take it for granted at all that those people will automatically switch over to me. So I'll be getting out there and working really hard to earn people's respect and show them how, you know, I have got, you know, deep experience across a range of sectors that means that I'm somebody who can get stuff done.
Yeah. Because your opponent has had a bit of a free ride up until now, Katie Nimmin. She's been a candidate without an opponent, and also her name's on virtually every bus or most of the buses in Hawke's Bay. How do you counter that?
Well, we're going to have to get moving. We're going to be out there doing street corner meetings. We're going to be visible in the community. We're going to be running all sorts of things, yeah. So watch this space.
And door knocking?
Absolutely. We'll be door knocking. We'll be having street corner meetings. You'll see us out and about, and I'm looking forward to meeting as many people across the electorate as possible.
Yeah.